Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into something totally chilling, a phenomenon that has literally inspired centuries of myths about demons and night hags. We're going to demystify those creepy shadows in your room and explore the absolutely incredible psychology and neurology behind sleep paralysis. So if you've ever had a weird, unexplainable experience in the middle of the night, or, if you're just fascinated by what the human brain does when we aren't looking, you're definitely in the right place. Let's get into it. We've got to start with that visceral, deeply terrifying hook. Just picture this for a second. It's the dead of night. Your eyes flutter open. Your mind wakes up, and you feel completely alert in the pitch dark. But when you try to shift your weight or lift your arm, nothing. Your body flatly refuses to respond. You're entirely frozen. And worse, to add to the sheer panic of it all, it suddenly feels like someone or something is in the room with you. Look, if you haven't experienced this, I know it sounds exactly like a horror movie. But if you have, you know exactly the terror I'm talking about.
Section 1. Trapped in your body. What's happening here is essentially a terrifying split reality. It's a massive disconnect. On one hand, you've got your mind. It's alert, it's conscious, it's totally awake to the world. But on the other hand, you have your body, which is still fully asleep, completely disabled and locked into a state known as REM atonia. Basically, your consciousness comes back online, but your physical body's sleep mode, it just hasn't gotten the memo to turn off yet. You're literally awake inside a sleeping shell.
Which brings us to Section 2, the science of sleep paralysis.
To really understand how we get trapped like that, we have to look at the biology. Specifically, it all comes down to REM atonia. Now, during normal deep sleep, your brain actually steps in to protect you by temporarily paralyzing most of your muscle movement. Why? Well, it's to stop you from acting out your dreams. I mean, if you're dreaming about running a marathon or fighting off a bear, you want to stay tucked safely in bed, right? Not roundhouse kicking your nightstand. So in theory, it's a brilliant safety feature. But here's the catch. Sometimes that sequence just misfires. In a normal night, step 1 happens, REM atonia kicks in during deep sleep, and you're paralyzed. Great. But then comes a glitch at step 2. Your consciousness wakes up way too early. By the time we hit step 3, the paralysis hasn't faded away like it's supposed to. The wires get totally crossed. That brilliant safety feature we just talked about, it suddenly becomes a cage, trapping you in this highly alarming state where your mind is fully awake, but your body is locked down.
Section 3, when dreams spill into reality.
Okay, let's talk about the scariest part of all this. The part that's inspired all that creepy folklore, the sensory hallucinations. And we're not just talking about a vague, weird feeling in the room. People report incredibly vivid, frankly terrifying things. Hearing whispers right next to their ears. Hearing heavy footsteps pacing across the floorboards. Heavy breathing. And the absolute worst, seeing dark, shadowy figures standing nearby. Usually hovering just out of reach or watching from the corner. It's profoundly unsettling. So why on earth does this happen? Well, it's because dream imagery can quite literally spill over into reality. You're caught in this bizarre middle ground where a part of your brain's dreaming system is still highly active, even though your conscious mind is awake and looking around the room. Your brain is effectively projecting your nightmares right into your waking environment. And because you are conscious, your mind processes these wild illusions as 100% undeniably real.
Let's move on to Section 4. What triggers sleep paralysis?
You're probably wondering why the brain's transition suddenly glitches like this. Well, psychology research points to 3 main triggers. First up, stress and anxiety. These create an overstimulated mind that just struggles to relax, which completely wreaks havoc on your sleep cycles. Next is irregular sleep. This essentially confuses the delicate transitions between your sleeping and waking states. And finally, hypervigilance. Some folks naturally have minds that are just highly sensitive and mentally alert even when resting, which makes it super easy for consciousness to suddenly spark awake during REM sleep. Let's zoom in on that first trigger for a second, because it's incredibly common. Studies show that sleep paralysis happens way more often during emotionally exhausting periods of our lives. If you're dealing with immense pressure, intense stress, or a lot of anxiety, your mind is basically redlining. It's totally overstimulated. So when you try to finally sleep, your brain struggles to fully power down. That disruption to your normal cycle makes these terrifying little neurological glitches a whole lot more likely to happen. And our daily habits play a huge role here too. Our brains crave stable sleep patterns. If your sleep schedule is all over the place, like maybe you're pulling all-nighters, staying up way too late, or constantly waking up in the middle of the night, your brain literally gets confused during those complex transitions it has to make. This directly leads to those jarring overlaps between being asleep and being awake.
The more unstable your schedule is, the easier it is for your brain to slip up and leave you paralyzed in the dark.
And finally, Section 5, Demystifying the Fear. Here is the main thing I really want you to take away from this explainer today. Once you actually understand the hidden mechanics and the biology behind these weird human experiences, the scariest things start making so much more sense. What feels exactly like a supernatural or demonic encounter at 3 a.m., complete with shadow people and that crushing feeling of being trapped, is actually just an awe-inspiring, if super uncomfortable, quirk of human neurology. It's literally just your REM atonia overlapping with your waking consciousness. You're completely safe. Your brain is just having a momentarily confused glitch.
I want to leave you with a thought to chew on. If that terrifying, absolutely real feeling presence of a shadow figure in your bedroom is really nothing more than a biological overlap, just a temporary little glitch in your sleep cycle, what other great mysteries of the human mind are out there just waiting to be decoded? What other ghosts in the machine are actually just misfiring neurons? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and remember, keep questioning the way your mind works.